786-440-8450 and tell them you heard about them from Artistic Times. This program is brought to you by the law firm of Altman, Flynn, and Kugler. We practice elder law and intellectual property, including patents, trademarks, and copyrights. If you would like to patent your idea, please contact our Fort Lauderdale office for a free consultation. Call 954-563-4814. That's 954-563-4814. Or visit us online at altmanpatent.com. That's OLTMANPATENT.com. Spokesperson, not an attorney. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Alexandra Bello Productions presents Artistic Times Radio with Alexandra Bello, covering art events, museums, festivals, and music. We have interviews of artists, celebrities, musicians, writers, and more. Learn about South Florida happenings and discover art firsthand while enjoying red carpets, fashion shows, and press conferences from the hand of our host, Alexandra Bello. Tune in on WNN 1470 every Tuesday night at 7:30 and on my website, ABP TV. Now, it's about to get artistic in here.
Hi everyone, how is everybody doing for this week? Another beautiful Monday, Artistic Monday. I am Alexandra Bello and I am excited to be here with you guys tonight. We have amazing people in the studio and I am holding one of their magazines, Carp Nocturne. So if you believe in fantasies and vampire stories and you are from that Gothic subculture, you are definitely somebody that is going to love Sci-Fi magazine. This is just, it's very quality. I am holding one right now and it does not feel, light at all. I mean, the pages are beautiful and I have here the owner of the magazine right here, Michelle Lawrence. How are you doing, Michelle? I want to talk to you first.
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. Michelle, how did you meet Vivian Orozco?
I actually met Vivian at Florida Renaissance Festival in Deerfield Beach. She is the princess at the Renaissance Festival. And so we work closely together in the rural court.
Awesome. And I see that, you have your family also involved with the business. You
Yes.
have your son right here who is the creative director.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
How are you doing? Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, my name is Edward Stinson. I am the creative art director, also sometimes the assistant art director, depending on mother's wishes. But I help out a lot with the creative aspects of the magazine. So,
what do you do exactly when you say you deal with the creative aspects?
I myself.
Do you say that she's like too red or too?
Well, actually, yeah, it's pretty similar. A lot of it comes down to, hey, should this be a bit brighter? Should it be a bit darker? It helps with the overarching theme and feel of the magazine. Between the feels of the pages, how the picture on it looks, the composition of the cover, the inside of the magazine, everything, it takes a lot of lookovers before we fully know what we want to do with it.
Awesome. So you are sitting with the editor or the graphic designer?
All of us are sitting together, actually. A lot of the times we want to make sure that all of our input comes together to make the magazine what it is. We don't want to have just one person sitting there. They'd spend 15 hours on something, and then the other two people come in. What the junk are you doing? That's not user friendly. So.
It does take a lot of people to create something wonderful.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've always said that. So it's very important to work in a team.
Absolutely.
Now, who wants to tell me how this came on board? How was this inspired? How was it born?
Well, when we first, when Carpet Nocturne first began, it was inspired really by the creative culture. We wanted to help everyone who was considered OTTN, as we've coined, other than the norm. Everyone who's been looking for that place to fit in, where their niche hobby, their feeling of what they love to do, whether it be cosplay, fantasy, the gothic subculture, belly dancing even, cosplay, all that good stuff. We wanted to allow that in the magazine so that everyone could find a space to be other than the norm and still have a family that they could find and, figure out and inform themselves and their friends of.
Awesome.
It's kind
What
of
can
like
you
we
tell me?
celebrate, we celebrate uniqueness or distinctiveness in the culture. Rather, like, a lot of mainstream magazines today, they celebrate a certain standard or a norm. Carpe Nocturne is more about celebrating you, the uniqueness of you, what you like, whether you like gothic, fantasy, sci-fi, steampunk, stuff like that. We want to know about that. We're much
I
want to
know about
the creative-
steampunk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why don't you
That's
tell
coming
me a little bit? Why don't you tell me in what page I can find something about steampunk?
Ooh, what is actually really great about the magazine, something that allows it to be very unique among other magazines of the creative culture. There are actually 4 quarters of the magazine. In each quarter, we change between sci-fi, steampunk, fantasy, and the gothic culture.
So each magazine has a theme. For
Absolutely.
example, July 15th, when our our next edition comes out, that's going to be our steampunk feature. We're actually gearing up, so to speak, for that particular
The pun master.
edition.
Oh.
That's
What
awesome.
do you?
So there's nothing from steampunk here, or maybe like one
You will
article.
find a little bit
A
of
little bit.
everything in each issue, but the main theme, as far as if you look, we have what we consider our photo spread. It's called Visceral Attractions.
My favorite.
And Visceral Attractions will feature based on what the theme of the magazine falls into.
Wow.
A lot of photos.
I wish that this line
And
was
that-
helping.
Oh.
I really
Oh my
did.
gosh.
Modern magazines like Vogue or anything like that, they have these photo spreads where they show these models and like what's trendy and all this.
Exactly.
Visceral Attractions kind of turns that all around. We really look for people who are like
Yes.
who are unique cosplayers, as it were, people who create unique looks or costumes, and that's what we look for.
That is so artistic.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
It's a different spin on that kind of thing, so people can see something that is different.
We want
Yeah.
to make them other than the norm. Cosplayers, creators, everything.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
every issue we do have, steampunk. We have articles on steampunk. In our current issue, which is the spring issue, the sci-fi theme, we have a band.
Clockwork, not work.
Yes. No shameless plug for them, but they're a steampunk band, and they're in the spring issue, which is a sci-fi issue.
Exactly.
But they're also going to be in our steampunk issue. So we don't.
Yeah.
We don't hold back on what we put in each issue just because of the theme.
Exactly.
Just so happens that the theme will be the overlying.
Like
Yeah.
you'll see
You know.
steampunk, like it's gonna be you'll see like a steampunk overarch theme throughout
Yes.
the whole magazine, even though there's different.
That's
sections.
where the artistic, creative
Yeah.
portion of
Exactly.
it comes in, making
Yeah.
sure that it feels like a steampunk magazine.
Yeah.
That feels like a fantasy magazine. It
It's the
feels
real
like
life.
that.
No, you know what?
celebration,
You
so-
are right. I am holding 2 different magazines, and they feel different.
Absolutely
Like,
different.
The cover feels different, and even the paper inside
Yep.
feels different, and they are not like one is thicker than the other one.
Nope.
Things like that. Like one of them is like very, very dark and creative pictures and
Goth.
Yeah,
Yes.
the goth,
The
that,
goth.
but that would be the goth edition.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, the nice thing about the magazine is too one of the things that we offer, unlike other magazines in our general, I guess, genre you would call
Genres.
it, genres plural, is that we have more pages, so we can actually offer more content and less advertisements. Like for Vogue is actually a great example. Vogue actually has like the first 10, 20 pages, they're all advertisements, right?
oh my god.
Oh, yes.
For us,
Yes.
that's not
I
the
wrote
case
an
at all.
article about
Yeah.
that. I actually get which one do I get to my house? I don't remember. I get Allure
Allure,
every
yeah.
month.
Same thing.
I don't sit down and read it very much, but a couple
Yes.
of times I tried to read it, and it was just I
Yeah.
took the pages off, I read them off,
And you realize it's
and
like
I
half the
counted
size.
them,
Yes. Yes.
and then I
Exactly.
counted the pages that had content, and the advertisement
Yeah.
was more
Yes.
than the ones that
exactly.
had content.
Yes.
The reality is that we're more of a grassroots. We're at the head of a grassroots indie movement.
Yep.
We're moving more towards indie cultures and stuff like that. And because of that, we still want to be the people's magazine. We're not going to clutter ourselves with full of advertisements. In fact, our advertising scale, because I don't know how much you know about magazines, but our
No, I don't.
advertising, our advertising
You're here to
scale
teach me.
is actually very creatively structured so that our advertisements don't interfere with any of the articles anyway. They become a part of the magazine. And they're almost blended into the magazine. If you notice, we have the ads are there, but you almost, I wouldn't say you overlook them, but they're so much a part of the magazine that it just becomes part of the spread.
Yeah, it becomes
They're-
information
yeah.
added in. You're
It
just like,
becomes,
ooh,
yeah,
what
like,
is
oh,
this
hey,
about?
what's that
That's
about?
an ad.
That's an
Exactly.
ad. Yes.
That's an ad.
And it's just
Yes.
beautiful. It
They're
looks like it
creatively
is.
incorporated
Yes.
so that they don't interfere with like you reading your article and
That's
they don't
an ad.
interrupt. And
You
it's
just
not
pass
like
an ad.
There's an ad.
That's-
On the bottom.
Exactly. On the
That's
bottom.
an ad. Yes.
But because you're right, because of the artistic direction
Oh, I
of
tried.
the ad, I don't know like how much I don't know
Wait,
how
hold
much
on.
freedom you have to modify an ad. I guess they give you guys the freedom, like, hey, this is our product, and you
Oftentimes,
guys.
what will happen is they will say, "Hey, can we advertise with the magazine?"
Yes.
They'll have images and they'll have layouts, oftentimes, but we'll converse a lot with them to make sure that the
Exactly.
ad looks like how they want it to look, but also fits in with the theme of the magazine itself.
What makes
Okay.
this cool is that there's actually two people involved in the ads and sales. I handle one end, and my partner Karen handles the
What do
other.
you do in marketing
I'm
as
the
a marketer?
I'm the marketing manager. So basically, right now I'm handling all the PR. I handle vendors that are coming in, and I handle advertisements as well. So basically, I manage the
I have the
social media.
website right here,
Yeah, the Carpe Nocturne Magazine.com.
or carpenocturne.net,
carpenocturne.net.
which is
Both work.
shorter.
Yes, which is
Whichever one.
shorter.
Yes.
Whichever one you pick, you'll get there.
No, because I
Yes.
kept doing the .com and it kept rerouting me to the
Yeah.
net,
Yes.
and I said,
That's
I guess they're
right.
trying to
Yes,
move.
eventually.
But
Eventually,
you're right. You're
yes.
trying to go for a shorter
Yes.
domain.
Because people
Exactly.
they remember Carpe Nocturne magazine, but it's so much to type. It's now
It's a mouthful
It's
to
a
type.
mouthful to say.
It's actually easier to access our Facebook page right now because we're in the middle of revamping our website.
Yes,
But-
tell me about the website. I did go to the website. I went to every page. Everything looks beautiful.
Thank you. The
Thank you,
website
thank you.
actually has some unique features. You can actually subscribe to the newsletter and the forums through the website as well.
Yes.
It's a cool thing, the forums, because it allows OTTNs, people who are other than the norm, to kind of meet each other and talk about their culture, talk about steampunk, sci-fi, goth, whatever they want to talk about, and be celebrated for who they are and what they like. The other thing to know about the newsletter, instead, our magazine is released quarterly, so
Yep.
you really only get it 4 times a year, once a season. However, if you go to the newsletter is released monthly, so you can find out the latest information about Carp Nocturne every month if you wanted to. What's coming up, if you have any feedback, all that's all done in the newsletter too.
Absolutely.
That's what the newsletter is for. It's to maintain a constant source of communication with our readers because, like I said, it's about them. We want to present content that they want to see and that they want to read.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what is like when I see the website, I know that it's a printed magazine and a digital magazine as well.
Right.
And it's $12.95 for the print edition, correct? So it's $12.95 per edition,
per edition.
Right.
Yes. You can subscribe.
and you can subscribe yearly.
Yes.
And do people get like a discount, or is
It's
it
a
one
big
time
discount.
print?
It's
very
you get you get the 4 issues for $30, I believe, for the subscription.
Amazing.
And that's the print, and then 36 for print and digital. The
yeah.
digital will have links, will have videos.
Digital's like really, really
digital's
nice.
really
I love
nice.
the digital.
The digital's very high
Yes,
tech, I think.
and
if
it
you look
opens
at
up
it,
into
yeah.
an actual flip magazine.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
interactive,
And
where
it's-
even if you
Yeah.
don't have the physical magazine, you're having just as much fun
Yeah.
with the
Because
digital
Because you can
version.
flip through it, and it's on your phone, your iPad.
And if you look at the price of the print edition, if you're really in a pinch, it's only $6.
yeah.
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 So it's not. It's like if you really don't want that print magazine, you don't need it on your table, whatever. You can get the e-edition.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
You
But
know?
we
How much is the e-edition?
That's
Just
$6.
$6
yeah,
per
per edition.
edition. Okay. And for example, I see that you guys have art, entertainment, fashion,
Yes.
film and literature. You have interviews. I did like the interview section.
Yes.
Everything looks so interesting. Now, how often do you update the interview session?
Well, what we try to do is the interviews that are in the magazine, we'll put them on the website, and we'll
Forever.
give you a little bits
Right.
and pieces of it, and then kind of entice them to go into
Teasers.
the magazine to purchase
Yeah.
our magazine.
Right.
However, we do have interviews that we don't have in the actual magazine, and we'll just put them on the website, and anyone can read them. So we do offer those interviews as well.
Even if you don't have the magazine, just visiting the website itself
You're still-
is an experience
Yes.
of Carpe Nocturne, experiencing being other than the norm, or
Right.
what the creative culture has to offer.
I wanted to ask you about the website. So the website is not basically in competition with the magazine. It's
No.
more like
No.
of a teaser
Yes.
of the magazine.
It's
Yes.
a part of the
Absolutely.
magazine.
It's a part of the
really-
magazine.
It's like the what do you call the first
trailer
room
for
of the
a-
house?
Yes.
No.
The trailer for a film.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh.
There you go.
Because
Oh my
there's
gosh.
like I said, there are things in the magazine that are on the website, but there are things on the website that are not necessarily going to be in the magazine.
Right.
So
Awesome.
you kind of get a
You
little,
kind
a little bit of
of
both.
get to go to both, and the
Yeah.
Facebook page is really cool because I'm partnering with Angie, who also manages the administrative, to kind of create more the same kind of feeling where you can go there and you can be heard and you get a little teaser of what's coming up. Punning, as I was doing earlier with the steampunk edition, that's part of the job. So I have to be really good at it.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
like our extraterrestrial edition is still in the atmosphere, stuff like that. I have to do
Oh my
stuff
God.
like that. That's fun.
Very, very interesting. I'm very excited that you guys came. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll
Okay.
be right back, guys. Artistic Times.
The summer is almost here, and you can renew your home's curb appeal in just a few hours. First Class Pressure Cleaning specializes in residential driveways and landscaping. Starting at only $50, First Class can make your house look brand new. Let's get ready for summer. Call 786-440-8450 and take advantage of our specials. We promise quality, dedication, and professional service. Get your residents treated first class. First Class Pressure Cleaning brings class to your home. 786-440-8450 and tell them you heard about them from Artistic Times. You're listening to Artistic Times with Alexandra Bello. Call into the show at 888-565-1470 and join us on the red carpet as Alexandra interviews and informs at WNN 1470 and ABP TV. Now, back to our show.
To our show. All right, we are here, and I just want to remind you that if you want to get online on the air with us, you can just call 888-565-1470. Remember that you can listen to us live on iHeartRadio. Just look for AM 1470 WAM. Make it your favorite station or favorite the station, and you can listen to me every Monday night at 7:30. You can also go to WNN1470am.com. You can go to amp2tv.com. You can go to alexanderbelloproductions.com. We are posted live like in 5 different places. So you can also follow me on Facebook on Alexandra Bello, and you will catch up with all the places that the show is being posted live at the same time, and also where it's going to be posted on Thursday as an archive for people to just embed it wherever they want and just have it living forever on the web. Remember to follow me on Twitter, ABPTV, Instagram, ABPTV, Alexandra Bello on Facebook, Alexandra Bello Productions on Facebook, and ABPTV on Vimeo. If you want to watch the web version of the show, which is like the Artistic Times WV or WV, right, for web vision. Yeah,
Yes,
because
web vision.
a lot of people get very serious about Artistic Times TV is artistictimes.tv, so it's not on TV. So I should have called it Artistic Times WV, and then everybody's happy.
Yes.
Web vision.
Web vision.
Whatever makes everybody happy. Anyways, I want to give a big shout out to my friends in La Liga Contra el Cáncer. They're going to be here next week, and they're always, every year, every 3 months, they are raising money for cancer, and they're going to be here next week. So we say hi to them, Nora Adler and Jessie Stolo. Going back to Carb Nocturne. We have a couple of minutes, and I want to ask you, the questions that I did send you. I always come here and ask the questions, but, she wanted some questions, so I went ahead and sent some.
Okay.
You told me what inspired this project. Now, how long has this magazine been around, and how many prints are there available for people to get?
Right now, the magazine has been around for 10 years, but actually last fall was the first printed magazine. And so technically, we will actually, within the next few months, have 3 magazines, and then moving on to 4 to have our complete volume of 4 magazines.
Of printed magazines.
Of printed
Keep in mind,
magazines.
it's been an e-magazine for far longer
Yes.
than that.
Wait.
It's been an it actually came out 10 years.
10
It's been
years,
out
yeah.
for 10 years. But yeah, the fall edition is going to be our special 10th anniversary edition. So look for some
Yes.
special cool stuff coming in that. But yeah, the magazine itself, I think we have over 12,000 copies right now,
Yeah.
printed worldwide. They're available in over 39,000 locations. You can
So you're
actually-
reaching 12,000 people.
Yes, we're reaching
Every 3
12,000
months.
people, and not just that, we're available at barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, and 39,000 other retailers across the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're, our biggest markets right now are, not to get too businessy, but it's Germany, Great Britain, and the United States.
In English.
But yeah, in English. Just in English alone. We're expanding throughout the world. The other markets are growing. Those are just the main ones that we're touching base with right now. And the reason that I say that is because we have a lot of vendors from the UK, and from Germany that advertise with us, that we partner with. Black Angel Gothic Shop is one of them, actually. They just offered our readers a special discount, that we'll be promoting on our website pretty soon.
Oh, that is so wonderful. I want to know what is up next for the magazine. I mean, I see that you guys have a website, very interesting website. It basically looks like a channel, I would say. Or I understand why it's called carpnocturne.net, because it is a network
Yes.
that you're
Yes.
trying to build,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Because eventually you are going to have your short segments with people live,
Yeah.
doing live interviews,
Yes.
like, hey, we are here
Yes.
doing interviews.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what is up next for this movement?
As you're saying, a lot of the interviews, a lot of getting the new names out there that are, frankly, other than the norm.
Yeah.
As we continue to expand the magazine, we want to continue to expand the creative culture. Lately, in frankly the world, there's been a lot of understanding for a lot of the different feelings and emotions out there with people who are like, hey, this has been my hobby for the last 2 decades of my life, but I just haven't had a place to say, hey, let's be goth together. Hey,
Yeah.
let's love fantasy. Hey,
Yep.
let's get into sci-fi together. A lot of conventions have been coming up. Those are things that we're going to cover in the
Yes.
magazine. A lot of the
Amazing.
big names that are going to go to them when we see different, whether they be comic book artists, cosplayers, bands. With each quarter of the magazine, as we were saying, the different themes are definitely going to help bring out the different aspects of the creative culture.
Right, and not just that. Like I said, we're at the head of a grassroots indie movement. We work in the underground. We look for these, for cultures that are other than the norm, because these are the cultures that aren't heard. And the reality is, it's really funny, because when I started working for Carpe Nocturne, the way they explained it to me, I had one of those aha moments. The reality is, we kind of go from all for all these subcultures. The reason you find it, or the reasons that we go for them, are all the same.
Yeah.
But
If you put
why
what it
why
boils
is it
down
a
to.
subculture? Why is it not a culture yet?
Because of simply how small they are now.
Society.
Society.
Yeah.
They're just
society is
other than the
dictating.
norm. The reality is, let's take Carpe Nocturne and compare it to Vogue. If I tell you, hey, I have this magazine, it's called Carpe Nocturne, but I also have Vogue, which magazine are you going to know first? It's going to be Vogue, because
So
Vogue
you're
is more
talking about
mainstream.
numbers when you say
But not even that. I'm
subculture.
talking about mainstream versus other than the norm.
Yeah.
Beyond numbers, beyond that, the reality is Vogue is what we know. Vogue is what society considers as normal. You need
Yep.
to be this skinny, pencil-thin model who wears Gucci earrings and wears, brand name crap. To be honest with you, but
the feels.
but Carpe Nocturne is dedicated to those people who don't care about that crap.
I mean, look at the
You know
cover.
what I mean?
The model
if you
on the
look at
cover
the
is
cover, the
beautiful.
model on the cover is a
Gorgeous.
burlesque model. The models that we have our spring edition models, beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of them are cosplayers,
Yeah, they're
body paint
cosplayers, body
artists.
paints, people who are incredibly creative, who create such beauty, but they're unrecognized. Why? Because they don't fit into mainstream society,
Yeah.
and that's not something that that's something that I think should be celebrated. That's a better way to say it. Yeah.
True.
Is there any questions that I didn't ask you from the ones I sent you? Because I asked you everything I wanted to ask.
Yeah. No, as far as the other thing that I did want to mention, as far as Carpe Nocturne and where it's going, because we are at the head of what we feel is going to be a big movement going forward. We sponsor events. We look for people.
Yes.
We look for people who are other than the norm. People who are vendors, crafters, artists, musicians. We look for all of that. In fact, we cater to them. In fact, if
How do you
wanna
sponsor an event? How can somebody approach you and say, I need you guys to sponsor my event?
email us at info@carpnocturne.net. Everything you can. We're accessible. We're approachable. We're not.
In many ways,
We're not
yeah.
way out there like off in some tower somewhere.
I have seen
We
your
just talk
email
to
list.
us.
I have
Yeah.
seen your email list. You have like 15 people with emails.
We offer
So you have
spotlight-
plenty of
We have a
people
lot
for a
of-
magazine.
we offer
There's a lot of
spotlight
options to
features
email
for
us
free.
to.
Yeah, spotlight features are free. You can
Yeah.
be, if you're an artist, you can always ask us for a spotlight. We'll come out, we'll check you out. If you have a book, we have several people that have, written comic books, that have written music. We do reviews on them in the literature section.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Interesting.
that's thanks to MJ, our editor. He's really good about that. He's really
Absolutely.
good about getting interviews out and on time and well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. We actually right now are working with the people who advertise with us, because we want to partner with them. We want to be we want them to be a part of our family, because really that's what we are. We're Carp Nocturne family. We celebrate cultures that are other than the norm, to the point where we're offering ads for as low as $70. If you have $70 just sitting there, that's the same that you
That's
would
like
pay.
3 months
Exactly.
Yeah, for 3
you know?
months
worth of
advertising.
advertising.
Absolutely.
And you get international recognition. I was telling a couple of my friends, because I run an artist circuits as well, I was like, look, this is the same price that you would pay to get into an art festival.
Oh my
but
gosh,
the difference
yes.
is the difference is you have international exposure, you have a broader audience, and you're looking at more potential revenue coming in than you would at an art festival.
And it's in print. I mean,
And-
it's forever.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's in print.
Yeah.
So
It is
you're-
print.
And
It is
it is also
influencer.
online when you do
Exactly.
Yes,
advertisement. It goes
exactly.
online and print.
Yeah.
We can offer a lot of value for the advertisers, and we want to use it for that. We want to use it as a forum so they can get out there and they can be known and they can be celebrated for being other than the norm.
Are you
Exactly.
planning on having because I didn't see it here, a sponsors page somewhere?
We
or
have a business
advertise?
directory page. So
Okay.
if a business if they want to be listed on the website, they can just, there's a submission form for articles, business,
Yes.
ads. They can just go on and input all the information. It'll come
Amazing.
to us and we'll just add it on there.
Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And if we partner, we partner with everybody. Even if you can't afford an ad right now, we'll partner with you. Like
Banner
if
exchange.
banner
Yeah.
exchange,
Yeah,
link
whatever it
exchange,
takes.
stuff like that. We'll do that for you.
And-
Because that's just how we are. We really believe in celebrating you, and more than
Yeah.
Collaboration is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
important.
And I
So,
mean-
celebrating is something I always want
Yeah.
to bring
Yeah.
up. It is literally celebrating the creative culture, celebrating being other than the norm. We're not all normal people,
Yeah.
So we want to say these
Yeah.
are our hobbies, these are our loves,
Okay.
So
Well,
that's what
thank
we
you
are.
so much, guys.
Thank
This
you.
was Carp Nocturne. We had Vivian Orozco, Michelle Lawrence, and
Edward Stinson.
Edward Stinson. Thank you so much for being with us, guys. Carp
you.
Nocturne was here. Remember, carpnocturne.net.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Alexandra Bello from Alexandra Bello Productions and Artistic Times Radio. Join us every Tuesday at 7:30 and get informed in the world of artists, celebrities, musicians, writers, and more on the Red Carpet Fashion Show. Join us next week for more red carpet treatment of Artistic Times. The opinions expressed on the preceding